PXG vs Baz Dimension game has finally been completed, with Yoichi Isagi scoring an incredible goal to end it off with an assist from the awakened Alexis Ness. And now that this game is done, I can finally stop listening to the people complaining that the game has gone on for way too long. I've heard too many people accusing Isagi of plot in this game, and that this goal just doesn't make any sense. Well, in today's video, I'm here to clear that up. Before I get into the video though, I want to leave a spoiler warning for the current chapters of the manga, and if you are not caught up to the latest releases, I would suggest clicking off this video now if you wish to not be spoiled. I also have a Discord server called the New Egoist Geeks, which you should totally join. The link to that is down below. Now, in order for fans to claim plot for the events of this chapter, we should start by looking at what exactly happened that allowed for Isagi to score. During the chapter, Luck and the ball dropped towards Ness, who hit a pass towards the goal box, to which Isagi appeared and received it to score the winning goal. Now, to me, this doesn't seem like plot was involved in really any negative way. First, when taking a look at the positions of the players, Isagi is being marked by Rin, Shido is marking Kaiser, and the ball drops towards Ness. Now, I need you to remember the positions of these players because it is very relevant to the context of the story. As the ball begins to fall towards Ness, we see reactions from both Kaiser and Isagi. And while Kaiser is struggling to figure out Ness's game plan, Isagi is already in motion. In the following panel, we see that while Kaiser is being marked by Shido, we see the silhouette of a player rushing down the field, which we now know to be Isagi. During Ness's awakening, he decided to send a pass to Kaiser with topspin that is unsuitable for the Kaiser impact. On the receiving end though, we see Kaiser rush towards the pass, with Rin suspiciously colliding with Shido and not marking Isagi. That is until it's revealed that Isagi was the one to catch the pass and not Kaiser, which eventually did lead him to scoring the final goal. Now, even after all of this, people want to say that Isagi just teleported there and that him looking like Kaiser doesn't make any sense. Well, allow me to explain even more. In the opening panel, we see that Kaiser is being marked by Shido just outside of the box, where Isagi is being marked by Rin a little ways away from it. When the ball begins to drop towards Ness, Isagi, using Omnivision, waits to see what Ness will do. We know that Isagi began to rush towards Kaiser, which forced Rin to chase after him. After Rin realizes that Ness is going to be the one to pass, Rin decides to split off to mark Kaiser, attempting to intercept the pass. Now, the moment that Ness awakens and sends the pass, we see Kaiser's silhouette. But then why is it Isagi? Well, this comes from the fact that these moments in the chapter come from Ness's perspective. Through the dialogue, Ness doesn't necessarily intend to pass to Kaiser, but rather who he believes is the best striker in the world. The style of pass he sends is a top spin drive pass, a style of pass that is unsuitable for the Kaiser impact. This pass, and even Ness's awakening, wasn't supposed to be a way of him sticking it to Kaiser. It wasn't supposed to be this suck it Kaiser moment, but more of one that challenged Kaiser to do better. Ness intentionally hit a pass that would be hard for Kaiser to receive as a way to allow for Kaiser to evolve. And whether he passed to Kaiser intentionally or not, he wasn't trying to pass to Kaiser, he was trying to pass to the best striker in the world, which just so coincidentally in his eyes happened to be Michael Kaiser. I know it may sound a little bit confusing, but that does kinda track. That's why when we see the silhouette, it's of Kaiser, because in Ness's mind, he is the best striker in the world. And you can call this bullcrap if you want, but you gotta remember that Ness pretty much suffered through like 4 years of mental manipulation and refinement. So instinctively, Ness is going to try to pass to Kaiser. It's just what feels natural to him after almost 4 years of doing this. Except this time, he's doing it in a way that benefits him more than it does Kaiser. And I've seen people ask, okay, then why does Isagi look like Kaiser? That's again because from Ness's perspective, he's passing to the best striker in the world who he believed was Michael Kaiser. His dialogue in this chapter literally says, if you're the best, then you better be there. However, once Ness realizes that it wasn't Kaiser who appeared and it was Isagi, that's when we get the reveal and this gets shrouded away. And narratively, it's a great conclusion to the NEL and this final game. Going back to the very first game, that being Barcha, we had Isagi describing Kaiser's movements as being the perfect embodiment of his style. And this is where we see Kaiser running with an Isagi grid model next to him. In the following chapter, Isagi himself asks, is Kaiser the perfect embodiment of the Blue Lock ideal? And in this final chapter, Isagi is essentially embodying Kaiser instead of it being the other way around, and by extension, he has fully become the Blue Lock ideal for a player. It shows the drastic growth of Isagi as a player since his introduction into the series, and how big of an impact that Kaiser had on his style and his thought process. So much so that he's actually beginning to mirror him in relation to those who consider Kaiser to be the best in the world. And I'm sure you're probably thinking, okay, but that doesn't explain how Isagi broke away from Rin. We know that in the beginning of the chapter, Isagi was being marked by Rin, with Rin on his right side. And we know that thanks to the man mark style that he's doing, Rin is keeping Isagi restricted to a 4-meter radius of himself. As for his placement on the right side, this comes from Rin's desire to narrow Isagi's shot course by pushing him out to the left, rather than letting him get closer to the middle. But now that I've explained the placements of these characters, how did Rin fall behind Isagi so much? I mean, Rin's physical abilities are drastically better, so wouldn't it make sense for him to have been able to catch up? Well, yeah, he should have. Unless his running course was longer. When Isagi began to run towards the goal, he intentionally had his running course have Kaiser and Shido in the way. This is because of two factors. Number one, because Ness had the ball, Isagi believed that Ness would pass the Kaiser even with his awakening. And number two, Kaiser and Shido can create a blind spot for Isagi to extort to score the final goal. By running towards Kaiser and Shido and slipping into their blind spot, it naturally creates a wall that forces Rin to move around, which would mean Rin would either have to wait for Isagi to move past Kaiser so he could approach from his left side, or he would have to move around the front of Kaiser to try and catch Isagi on the right side again. And because his course is longer and less direct, it causes a gap that not even Rin can recover from. And what's really unique and special about this play comes from the fact that Isagi embodied the fastest piece that he acquired from the previous chapters. By adapting the fastest and understanding the plays before anyone else can, he was able to rationally create a strategy that would allow for him to get into the perfect place to score without Rin being able to stop him. And this took several factors that Isagi had come to understand throughout his entire experience in the NEL and the U20 game. His first piece actually came from Aiku in the U20 game. Due to Aiku's overwhelming presence and defensive power, Isagi needed to find a location that Aiku couldn't reach, but one he could actually score from. And from his experience in doing so, Isagi was able to create a plan to get himself into that position using Kaiser and Shido as a wall. The second was his understanding of Kaiser and Shido to then use them as a wall. From his experience in Barcha when intervening against Lavenho and Noah's matchup, it led Isagi to understand the extortion of other players into his final goal by using them as a shield to stop the opponent from catching up. The third was his understanding of luck. Because of Isagi's understanding of luck, not only did he know that Ness was going to receive the ball in the end, but he also knew that Ness's final pass would lead to the game-winning goal. This also comes from his experience with Kaiser, as Isagi knows and understands how to sense luck in other people. The fourth piece was his concepts of egocentrism and Ness himself. Thanks to the Manshan City game, Isagi learned of the protagonist feeling known as egocentrism, which allows for a player to tap into flow by believing that they are the main character of the game. With his experience of this from an assisting role thanks to Royal awakening Nagi's 5-stage revolver fig volley and Isagi assisting Yukimiya, he can not only understand egocentrism from a goal scoring perspective, but also an assisting perspective. This is what led him to believe that Ness would send a pass to Kaiser in the end. After believing that Ness was a broken piece, Kaiser's final dialogue with him led Isagi to truly believe that Ness would awaken and attempt a pass that surpasses what Kaiser can currently do. And sure enough, by dumb luck, Isagi was right. Not to mention that by pulling Rin towards Kaiser even more, it pincered him with both Rin and Shido double marking him as to not let Kaiser move freely so Isagi could steal the final pass. But the final piece was his understanding of his specialty as a talented learner, the ability to adapt faster than anyone else can. Through his understanding of talented learners and geniuses, Isagi was able to discover the trick behind the talented learner's superiority to geniuses. That trait being the ability to comprehend information and adapt to the field faster than anyone else can. And with him knowing his special trait is to adapt faster than anyone, Isagi was able to understand these concepts and formulate a plan before anyone else on the field could. This is what allowed for him to surpass both Rin and Ness's thinking, leading him to scoring the final goal of the game. And with that, I hope this video helped you understand why Isagi scoring the final goal of the NEL was not simply just plot. If after this video you still don't understand or still believe that it was plot, I suggest you reread the entire NEL again, because at that point I really can't help you. But aside from that, I hope you guys did enjoy this video and will continue to enjoy it in the future. With this game concluding, we'll soon be seeing the Barcha vs Manshan game, and I for one am incredibly excited to see what Roya's plan is to both reawaken him and Nagi. I have my own theories that I've discussed in a separate video, so go check it out if you want to know what my theories are. But just a final reminder though to become a member of the channel and join the Discord server, as both are ways to help support the BLUELOCK New World movie as we continue its production. And for those who either donate with a super chat or become a member of the channel, you would be mentioned in the BLUELOCK New World movie as a contributor to the project in the credits of the film. So if you want that extra benefit to your membership, you know what to do. As for the question of the video though, which goal is your favorite Isagi goal in the series, and why? Leave me your thoughts down below in the comment section. And like always, thank you all for watching. Like and subscribe to see more awesome BLUELOCK content just like this.